Good morning, Rabbi Sai. We're starting Eli Stefansky. You guys, you have no idea. Geschmack. This is an unbelievable email. Liked it. To my dearest Rebelli, I don't know how to write, but I'll try. You receive many emails, but maybe this one will somehow reach you. I'll share my story in short as much as possible. I was an excellent bacher. I got married, but my wife did not really know where I was spiritually. The truth is, I had not opened up a sefer, not even a siddur, for about 5 years. I go to a large kollel where no one noticed me, but I was falling lower and lower. One time I flew abroad for family simcha. My wife did not want to come along, and that scared me. At the airport, I met a Chabad chassid who offered me a card of Melech HaMashiach. I did not connect to it and refused. But he did not leave me alone. He said to me, you know what? He took out his booklet over there, tore out a Gemara page, and asked me to learn a daf of Gemara. Finally, I took it. It was Shabbos Daf Hey. On the flight, I faced an enormous assault. I knew if I fell, I would have no one and nothing to come back for. I took the Gemara page, wrapped my glasses in it, and went to sleep. I felt an assault burning inside me. I took out my device and searched for a shir on that Gemara so I could listen to it. On Shabbos Daf Hey, you came up, Eli Stefansky in English. I listened to it out loud, and then Soin ran away. I took the daf with me everywhere. Whenever I faced an assault, I listened to you again. I came back to Eretz Yisrael after about 3 weeks, and I realized that my wife was not the same as before. I felt that something had cracked. I felt like my world had collapsed. One day, when my wife was washing my pants, she took out the Gemara page and asked me what was this and why it was so crumpled. I avoided answering. She checked with the people I had been with abroad, and they told her wherever I went, whenever there was extra time, there was a Gemara page in my pocket or a belly in my ears. You saved me, you lifted me up, you brought me back. She buried everything she had thought about me and pushed me to go to your shir at one of the locations. I took it as a springboard. I would come to that location an hour early and learn Masechta Shabbos. I started from the beginning, and when I reached Daf Hey, the daf crumpled that over crying me saw. Somebody saw him learning from the daf that was crumpled. Hard as it was, the same page I learned, and he asked me what happened. I shared my story with him, and we set up a chavrusa. Today I finished the Masechta for the first time in my life. I'm 43 years old. How do you gather good people who are devoted to others and bring them together around one table? And how does one manage to choose joy even while heart tightens with longing and memories of what will never return? Seeing that the answers to those questions are the essence of your special and blessed organization, which I have merited to become part of as a family member, a place where sadness and joy can live together without anyone raising an eyebrow, a place where a person can speak, listen to another, and understand his pain. To create such a project requires a very big heart, tremendous nobility, and thinking that it's completely focused on others. It requires initiative, the joining together of many different people, and a great deal of siyata d'shmaya. The light and goodness of you and your family shine upon all of us. With Hashem's help, may we soon feel strong enough to contribute from our own strength and help others, because goodness like this is destined to spread and illuminate the entire world. A servant of servants of Hashem, which I asked last night, I didn't understand, so he wrote me another email. I'll explain to you in a second. If it will do some good, my name may be mentioned. Avram Zechariah ben Chava Yitzchaki from Beitar. So he sent me the Rabbi Kiva Eger's matzeva that says Eved la'avdei Hashem. I didn't understand the musig, so I wasn't familiar. All right, very nice. Dear Rebelli, I've been learning Daf Yomi with him. He says, Brachas of Beis. Who can forget the half-finished base medrash with the yellow sign? Crazy thing of how quickly time goes by. I've been on and off for years, but I'm proud to say that I've learned close to half a shas and finished many Masechtas. Today is special for me. This is an interesting email, because even people that are from the beginning, they have also nisyonos. Today is special for me because it's the first time learning the daf for 40 straight days without missing a day and catching up on Shabbos, etc. You didn't catch up on Shabbos. It's 40 days straight, and as long as I can remember. It feels like a rebirth and a reminder that it's never too late to restart. Thank you for creating something that makes that possible. Another reason I'm writing is because I know you're always willing to say important things, others won't. One issue I believe the high-speed electric scooters. Okay, everybody's talking about it now. I'm not the mashgiach and the Baal Musar of the Dar. Once in a while I stick in a thing, everything, I got like 10. Can you please speak about this, shaving your this, I'll do into that. Okay. Common sense, restores standards and parents to children every day, responsibility. It's scary. I can't really speak about it because I might know a person that might be my wife's son who has one of those. Your Talmud Baruch Gottman. It won't be the first time I'm a hypocrite. So I guess, firstly, I really appreciate the video message you sent. It's a big chizuk. Secondly, MDY Belgium, together with a couple of Europeans, was dedicate 2 amudim in the Sefer Torah. Best regards, Yitzi Eisenthal. Your mother should have a refuah shleima. Real quickly, we got to do this. Moshe Brown, my father's passing. After nearly 5 years of illness, my father, Mordechai ben Moshe Meir, was nifter this past Shabbos, at the age of 79. He lived in Buffalo, New York. At 27, he became a Baal Tshuva and married my mother. At 29, had his first child. Fast forward 10 years, my mother became blind from MS. My father had a very good paying job. We lived very comfortably in a very big 3.5-story house. At 40 years old, he found himself with a blind wife and 5 children that needed chinuch and wasn't available in Buffalo, New York. Hoping that his children would grow up as Erlich Yidden, he sold his house for a pittance and moved us all to Monsey, New York. Life wasn't easy, to say the least. We were in a completely new and foreign town, no friends, no family, no money. He knew it would be difficult, but not to the extent that it was. Even back then, out-of-town budgets were a fraction of what Monsey cost. It took 30 years of difficulty, anguish, 6 rented houses, multiple jobs, until my parents were able to live a harmonious, calm life for years. My father never again owned his own house. Before the Levaya, I was contemplating what to say. On the one hand, there were plenty of pain and suffering that I could focus on. On the other hand, unfortunately, my father wasn't unique in having a difficult life. I decided to focus on one of his deepest pains. He was never able to learn Gemara. I remember when he tried. As a boy, he was in his 40s. My father kept on telling a friend how badly he wanted to learn Gemara. After weeks of daily badgering, the person finally relented and agreed to try to teach my father. It didn't go well. To the graduate made my father very upset that he couldn't grasp Gemara. After a few months, they stopped. In those days, Archibald had published a Gemara with English translation. It was one of his deepest pains. He felt inadequate. Unless of a yid, he always encouraged us to learn, and was extremely happy whenever we got good test scores. His Einiklach knew they could get almost anything from him when they showed him a tu'udah. I told him by the Levaya that in fact is carrying thousands of daf with him to Bezdin Shalmala. He was moiser nefesh in a way people can't imagine, to make sure that his children and grandchildren will be able to learn Torah. He gave up his comfortable life, income, and home, all for Limud Torah. Unfortunately for him, it wasn't his own. But in every single word of Torah his children and grandchildren learn, he has a real chelik. It was a sacrifice that allowed us to have a chinuch. I told him to go stand proudly before the Bezdin Shalmala and showcase his tremendous accomplishments. He left this world leaving behind nothing financial or physical. We even joked that he's denying us children the pleasure of a good fight over the Yerusha. All he took along was Torah. To all that were zoicha to learn yeshiva, please make sure to bring along your own Torah when your time comes. Unlike my father, very few of us will be able to claim ownership of anyone else's. The Nishmas Nisim Mordechai ben Moshe Meir, sincerely Moshe Brown. Here he is on the left with Rabbi Yidi Lebovitz, Shimi Lebovitz, his father was nifter at a very young age. He was our graphic designer. Okay, was noch? Now I can go weiter. I think, real quickly, yeah. This is a yeshiva I spoke in, it's a yeshiva for geschmacky guys in Tifrach. This is Rabbi Yanker Friedman, he's mamish from the Gdolim. You should go ask him for a bracha if you can. Unbelievable person. Showing me Rebbe Ber. He spoke to me for an hour, Benny said. This is the bed that I slept on when I was 10 years old, in his house. Same bed, same cushion, the whole thing. Even that, he told me, nothing changed in this house, zero. This is Rabbi Yitzchak Davis. I went to visit him. He was one of the Maggid Yishurim in that Yeshiva Ktana. And this is Reb Baruch Levin, who's also my Maggid Shir. And he became a Maggid Shir in the Yeshiva Gdolah, the famous Yeshiva Gdolah of Tifrach, Toshia. I learned in the Yeshiva Ktana of Toshia. And here he is. This Benny was most inspired from this Yid. Let's just do it real quickly. My son's Rebbe was running a Chumash game where boys answer questions and earn pictures worth different point values. Somebody created an AI-generated game featuring you and MDY. My son Yaakov, one whose surgery I unfortunately missed while I was in Morocco, says Jamie Zulai. Especially excited about it. His Rebbe, Rabbi Schwartz, is also a fellow MDY and a big daf enthusiast. Just thought you get a kick out of how far the MDY influence reaches. May Hashem continue to bench you, your family, entire MDY. We continue at Sloch and spreading Torah to so many around the world. Warm regards, Jamie Zulai. I was very nispal from this Rebbe that takes, the new technology and it makes it interesting and geschmack for the boys. All these different pictures, all these different things that he worked hard on. This is geschmack one, wow. First edition of Shas Mesefta Zevin Yal Sholof. Perek. Ilana married Davidovich. He's the one that took the name of the Sefer Torah. Davidovich, Linishmas Ishai ben Aaron, and Yocheved Chava Itel Bas Avram. Daf Mem Beis, Gedalia Waldman, in honor of my father Chaim Waldman, and in memory of my father-in-law, Rabbi Dr. Irving Jacobs. Rabbi Yitzchak ben Shlomi Zeichet Tzadik V'Racha. The Masechet is sponsored by David Salomon, dedicated in memory of Avi Mori, Reb Shmuel Baruch, Reb Chaim Tzvi, Doiv Zechron Levracha. The Pasuk Family Foundation gratitude to the consortium and the alliance and all they do to support MDY. Anonymous Tzachach Baruch Nitzvi Gashmis, and thank you to Chief Benny. Anonymous we could leave Refuah Shlema and Arichis Yom Talei Bas Esther. Binyam and Daniel Rosenfeld, Bris V'Simcha. The multi-sponsor Ari Simon, the Refuah Shlema of Yimori Baruch Ben Miriam. Anonymous. Refuah Shlema for Rabbi Ruchem Ben Yehudis and Avram Yishayahu, Avram Yishai Ben Slava Devaira. Amen. The Spanish Shir sponsors in honor of the first three Bachrim in the Mexican satellite location. Shmuel Yehuda Abramchik 15, Moshe Laniado 15, and Inon Greenberg 16. The first three Bachrim in the Mexican satellite location. Wow. Zev and Amy, Nevo and family, Adina Liba Bas, Zev Chaim Aleh Shalom, a 4-year-old girl who shook up the world with her ptira. But she made Melis Yosef for Klai Yisrael. By Reuven Klein, in memory of Sarah Ratza Bas Baba Peril on her yard side, Chav Zayin Sivan. Yosef Robbins, Loisen Lechem L'chol Basar, Loisen Eflois G'doyles Levadoi, Ki Loilem Chazdoi. Emmy, Mazel Tov to Yossi Elbaum, son of Unit RH. Rhode Island, 243 on his engagement to Yitti Taub. What's RH again? Rockland. Yeah, monthly. Innovations LLC has a schus for Akiva Simcha Ben Fego and Rivka Yehuda's Bas Yafa Chayo. MDY Art month. Refuah Shlema Yonatan Eita Ben V'Shava Bracha. Did anybody go visit it in the last few days?
Yes.
Oh, that doesn't count. Fine, it counts. Refuah Shlema Mordechai Ben Esther. Refuah Hayela Daniel Zev Ben Hayel Tes. It's a big mitzvah to go visit him. He's on oxygen, I'm assuming. What's the address?
Admor Rizin, the last house.
Admor Rizin in what's it called over here? Mem Shalosh. Admor Rizin last. It's the corner house, huh?
You don't always have to coordinate with him or somebody.
Yeah, but you go in there and okay. Rabbi Isai, you'll remember this day for a long time. This is the beginning of Elu Trefus, and what a parak it's going to be. We're 40 daf into Chullin, and I told you it's going to be Geshmak. And it was Geshmak. We had 2 dapim of Yad Sheni and a Shlishi, which for me was super Geshmak. Maybe some of the Olam didn't appreciate it as much. But here we go. Mamish, easy and flowing, but hands-on Geshmak. Elu Treifos Bebehema. The Mishnah is going to list 18, doesn't say the word 18, but the Mishnah is going to list 18 different treifos. Now, because I made this mistake when we were learning Masechtas Yevamis, and on the first Mishnah, I went through every single one of the 15 cases. It took a long time, and I didn't explain it well, and till today, it bothers me, that first Mishnah of Yevamis. What I should have done is taken one case, spoken about it, and then all the other cases go quicker. I'm not going to make that mistake again, Be'ezer Hashem. We have 18 cases that the Gemara is going to discuss in great length. We'll talk about it. Everything will be understood, but we won't go deep into it until we get to that sugya of that particular thing. Nikuvas haveshet. If the esophagus, the food pipe, has a very small hole in it, even a mashu, like we always show this picture, but today we have even a real picture of nikuvas. If you look closely, there's a little hole over there on the top. No, you don't see? Oh, here, right over here. See? Okay, a slight nick, a little hole through and through it makes it a treifa. Upsukas hagargeres. Where's my gargeres? Oh, let's say this is the trachea. This is the windpipe, and if it's slit like this, that's a treifa more than roiv. If it's more than 51%. Let's say. A cow smokes. What would its trachea look like? So my good friend Noam Fix brought me a sample of it. It looked like this. Zogt the Mishnah. Nikav krum Did I mention? I have to mention. Maybe I don't remember if I mentioned the Hebrew or did I say about the 33 in English? Rabbi Isai, the statistics came out the other day and I got it from 13, 14 different people. Every single day in Eretz Yisrael, 33 people die from smoking. From smoking. That, yes. That you decided. 33 people die from cigarettes, from other things. That means 33 families are burying a loved one, and 33 families are sitting Shiva. There's 33 almanas, or almanim, yisoimim, 33. Do the math. Over 12,000 people a year that could be preventable deaths. 12,000. That's what we're hoping. How did the CT scan go? 132 hours. He's counting the hours. The first 7 days are very, very difficult. Yisrael Goldstein is on the thing. All these guys are on a group. How many people are on that group now? Quite a few. Givaldik. Nikav Krum Shel Moyach. Krum Shel Moyach. Here's a gargaris. There's a picture of a real trachea. The different rings. The outside is made out of cartilage, and the bottom where his fingers are actually meat. This is Krum Shel Moyach. There's a membrane around the brain, almost like a plastic bag, sort of. It's hard to see it here if you have it. It's unbelievable, the quality of these screens over here. But anyway, on my screen, it's all. You could see like a shiny thing on the brain. That's the very, very thin membrane that wraps the brain. So if there's a little hole in that, that's a treifa. Nikav halev lebeis chalaloi. If the heart is punctured all the way to the cavity of the, oh, I like that word. I wonder if the Artsur uses that, the word cavity. Probably. Here's the cavity. The heart has cavity. That's where the blood goes into and it gets pumped out from there. The chamber. He calls it chamber. I like cavity better. Cavity is geschmack. It is a chamber. They're right. They are right. But it happens to be that cavity explains it better. If the hole goes through and through, we actually have a real picture of a real heart. If you don't like this stuff, you don't have to look. Here's a hole in the heart that goes into the cavity. Nishbara hashidra. If the spine broke, v'nifsak hachut, the main part here is that the spinal cord, the chut, was severed. That creates a treifa, not the fact that the spine broke. Spine could break and a person could live, an animal could live. But the fact that the cord broke, how does the cord break? By breaking the spine. That's the whole point. Beautiful picture that Yoshi put together here. I worked with him on this just to get the blue, which is not real. It's not the color, but to emphasize the cord because it gets lost. And he actually made some of the, I don't know if you notice, some of the vertebrae are glass, are like plastic, so you can see through. I want to show you a video that our Chaver put together, Uriel. It's one of the better videos that we ever showed. And I think this is a perfect video to put on your status. Put it on your status, I'm telling you, right with the words. Join Elutrefus today because it's going to be Gishmak. It's that simple. Noam, could you do that for me? Yep. Shkoyach. Unless you don't like it. It's up to you, but I think you're going to enjoy this video.
ניקב הלב לבייס חלולו, נשברו השדרו ונפסוק החוט שלו, ניתן לכובד, לא משתערים ממנו כלום, הרי הוא שנקבו שחסר.
Kaveh, it's heavy. This is the shidra that breaks. Shmak. Take this, put it on your status immediately. Go to the bot, download it, and put it on your status. You'll bring somebody to Torah. Nitala kovid v'lo nishtayir menu klum. If the liver, it's interesting, the word kaved means heavy. It's the heaviest organ in the body. Is it heavier than skin? I guess it is. I don't know. They say that's why it's called kaved. But we know that the liver is the only organ in the body that regenerates. And if there's a small piece left of the liver, it will regenerate back to normal. So that's why it says nitala kaved. If the entire liver was removed, nothing was left over, then it's a treifa. Hareya shenikva oisha chasra. If a lung, here's a lung. It's amazing. Like if you've never seen it, it's pretty cool because it's all shriveled up, and then you blow into it. It's like a balloon, blows up. I want to show you this, I guess. Okay, this is a lung. If it has a little nekev, if you notice, we're talking about all these things that have nekev, a little hole, a nikav alev, nikuvas haveshet, hareya shenikva. You have a lung that has a little puncture in it. Oishachasro, it's missing a piece. The Gemara is going to ask if it's missing a piece, so it has a puncture. Rabbi Shimon Oimer, achitinokev the base hasim poinos. So Rashi says base hasim poinos is something like this. If you look closely at this picture, a lot of these pictures I received yesterday from Rabbi Avram Beisfish, our in-house shochet. He was on Zoom. He's amazing. He has a picture for everything, basically. And these little blood vessels, or whatever they are in there, they say it's not really blood, but the symphytus are these pipes that are in the lungs. It has to go up to there, according to Reb Shimon. Nikva hakeva. We'll be discussing this. There are 4 stomachs. The food goes into stomach number 1. It's called the keres. From there, it moves on to the beis hakaisos. I have here beis hakaisos, but it's kind of frozen and it's shriveled up in the freezer. I have also hemsis. I'll just show you. This piece is actually this piece over here on the glove. The design is magnificent. It's really beautiful. And then the second one is called hemsis. It also has a crazy design of lines. Here's a blow up of a beis hakaisos. So you can see over here, what happens is the grass that the animal eats gets chewed up, goes into the keres, gets digested, and then goes into this beis hakaisos. And the beis hakaisos forms kaisos, like balls. And each little piece of grass goes into each one of those cavities. And therefore it has a bunch of these balls. And then it does maligera, it takes those balls, goes back to the mouth, and it re-chews it again. Then it goes back in, somehow it knows how to go back in and go avoid the first 2, and goes from there to the hemsis. The beis hakaisos and the hemsis are back to back. Interesting. Yeah, you can see. Wow, you can see grass in the bottom right over there. It's yum. Nikva hakeva. Now, from the hemsis it goes to the keva, which is the 4th thing, right? So we said there's a keres, beis hakaisos, hemsis, and it goes to keva. So if there's a puncture in the keva, no good. Nikva hamara. Now, what about the hemsis and the beis hakaisos if they have a puncture? So that we're going to talk about soon. Nikva hamara, if the gallbladder has a puncture, it's nerve. It's very bitter stuff, mara. Again, we're talking about nikva. I'm pointing it out because the Gemara is going to take all of these and put them into one category called nikva. So they're all considered one. The bottom line is there's a puncture. Nikva akeva, nikva hamara, nikvu hadakin. I love this picture. One of my favorite. I didn't see all the pictures, but this one, just a great picture because I took the dakin and I was playing jump rope with it. Like I did a double. I never did before, but it worked out well. And they grabbed that shot. These are the small intestines. They're very long. Food goes through all that. Hakeres hapnimis shenikva. The Gemara is going to discuss what the pnimis is, what's chitzonis, but the keres. That's the first stomach that the food goes into. Truth is, we have, Yoshi worked on it, I might as well show this. It's a very nice picture. A lot of stuff that we're discussing here. You can see the mara right over here, that's the gallbladder, that green guy. You can see the base akaisais over here, that honeycomb, and the hemsis next to it. What are we talking about now? The heart, lungs, kaved, kava, keres. Are we at keres? So this is right over here, he says. That's the keres. These are the kishkas, the mayim. Okay, so hakeres hapnimis shenikva that had a puncture, or shenikra roivachitzoino, or it was ripped, most of it from the outside. Rabbi Yehuda, it depends. Hagdoila tefach. If it's a large animal like a bull, so you have to have at least one tefach, one fistful of a rip. Baktana, but you have a smaller animal like a baby, a calf. So even if it's less than a tefach, beruba, as long as it's the majority. Oh, so now we're going back to the hemsis of beis hakosis. Hemsis of beis hakosis shenikvu lachutz. So that's fascinating, because over here you could see, if you look closely, you notice the grass. What you didn't notice is this nail lodged in here. Is that puzzle or not? Well, that's not really what we're talking about. We're talking about a puncture wound that goes through and through. Here, you'll see the flip side. This is, you see the blood? And there's some sort of nail there. You can see the nail that went through while it's alive. How do you know? Because you see the, I guess, maybe because you see that it was injured before, not after it died, I think.
Good point.
Oh.
Now you just need a go.
Okay, so check this out. The beis hakoisais dumps the food in to the hemsis. They're connected. They have a pipe going one to the other. If you add another opening from the hemsis into the base, from the beis hakoisais to the hemsis, nothing happened. You'll double the capacity of it to move from one to the other. You didn't cause permanent damage. You cause damage if you're going to puncture the outer wall of the beis hakoisais. If a nail goes through and through, like we just saw, that's problematic, because then food is going to go into the body. It's going to leak out. So that's what he's saying over here. Hemsis beis hakoisais shenikvu lachutz, but not lifnim. Lifnim would mean on the wall that connects the two of them, and there's a hole that goes through and through. That's not a problem. Nafna minagag. This is the story that I told you about my father and myself in Bnei Brak. He was concerned about this, the nafla minagag, which later on I said over there, Dalet Amos, I saw yesterday, it says 10 tefachim is a problem. And that if an animal falls, 10 tefachim, somebody told me, Reb Weisfish, he left me a message. He said, listen, it happens. If a truck full of chickens flips over, trucks flip over, they're all treif as nefula. Just, but I don't know the halacha in a bird, but I know that when it comes to a behema, if an animal falls off a roof, roof means a table is also a roof. Anything that's above 10 tefachim is a roof. So it's a mashal of something high. So if so, you didn't, what a tzaddik he is. Give up a seat. So you wait 24 hours. If the animal is good after 24 hours, walking around normal, he's kosher. What happens is, the guy doesn't know halacha. His animal falls off the roof. He says, let me shecht him right away. You shecht right away, that's it. You can't eat it. Because you don't know. You can't open it up and find the treifa. The treifa is it's a category of risukei varim of nefula. It's called nefula. Exactly what, I don't know. So Mela, don't check your nefula within 24 hours. If you wait 24 hours and it's good, then you're good. The shtabru roiv tzaluiseha, if most of its ribs were broken, they say it's a terrible joke. I'll say it's time for the Kadosh Baruch Hu comes to Adam Arisha and says, I want to give you a wife. So he tells the Rebbeinu Shalom, how much is it going to cost me? So the Rebbeinu Shalom says it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. An arm and a leg. So he says, no, what can I get for a rib? But It's a terrible. It's not even a nice joke, but it's not a rib. It's not a rib. Tzela means a side, a whole side of Adam Rishon. It's a lot more than an arm and a leg. Okay, so Udrusas has a Eve. When a wolf attacks, so Rashi explains that a wolf has poison in its nails. We could understand today, what does he mean, poison? Poison, what, he's a snake? Poison means germs. He has rabies. He has poison, meaning he has decayed flesh in his paws, in his claws. And those claws, in addition to causing damage, they also inject an infection, and the animal dies from the infection. So in Mela, once this animal is going to get ripped up by this wolf, it's done, because eventually it's going to die from the infection. That's how I'm learning it. In fact, I have to find this picture. One of the better pictures I took, it wasn't with you guys, I don't think. We saw a zebra that was attacked by a lion, but survived. No, not the one with the kishkas coming out. Not the one with the kishkas coming out. I remember exactly where it was. I was with my family. The lion, you have to understand, I mean, we were thinking back then, if you took a knife and try to slice a zebra, it would be very difficult. It has very thick skin. Animals have thick skin. This zebra had 5 rips, real rips, with blood coming out of them down its back from the claw. Because in Africa also, in one of the airports, they had a lion, but it had a stuffed lion with its claws out. And I put my hand next to it's like double the size, like this. Like people don't realize the size of this guy. And then the claws come out like real knives, but thick. So that's what the Mishnah is saying over here. Udrusa sari, Rabbi Yehuda Omer drusa zebedaka. When you're talking about a sheep, okay, so that it'll die from an infection from a wolf. No. In order to die from an infection, when it comes to a larger animal, that you need drusas ari. Then you need a lion. His infection and his claws are much stronger, and they'll go through the hide of a larger animal, like a cow, begasa. Drusas hanates, hawks. So we have these in, I believe, unless I'm confusing the hawk with something else, I think it's the hawk. In Chicago, they say they have them there twice. I witnessed it. They come at, they're very, very fast flyers. They just come in between the branches, and just like this picture, and they just pick up a pigeon and just fly away with it. And they'll go to like a fence or something, sit there and just pick at it until all its feathers are gone, and they kill it. So these claws of the snakes, they'll create the same problem in a chicken. No, drusas hanates ba'oif hadak, in a smaller bird like a pigeon, udrusas hagas, and a larger bird like this. Here's a gewaldige picture. This is real, Rabbi. This is not a joke. This is an eagle holding on to a sheep, yeah? A baby sheep. This is the real deal. So you have a larger bird. The hawk is much smaller, much weaker than that. It can do a bird, but it can't do a sheep. So, drusas hagas ba'oif hagas. Sorry, where am I? Drusas hanes ba'oif hadak. Drusas hagas ba'oif hagas. A larger bird. What does it say on the side over here? I didn't notice.
Dogs and chickens.
Yeah, like chickens, exactly. Turkey. Zaklal. Kol she'en kamoya chaya treifa. So the Mishnah finishes off saying, like the man we're going to see in the second of Machlokes, anything that can't survive the year is considered a treifa. If it could survive the year, it's not a treifa. Where do we see this idea of treifa in the Torah? Minayin. The treifa, that says treifa. What do you mean where do you see it in the Torah? Oh, no, what I meant to ask is, since there's a machlokes, whether treifa survives a year or not, there's a man that says even it could survive 22 years. But Lamaisa, it's missing a limb, it's a treifa, whatever one of these things, it has a hole in its kishkes, it could survive 10 years, it's still a treifa. So where do you see that a treifa doesn't live? The Tani Seifa, Zah Klal. It says in our Mishnah, the last line, Zah Klal, Kol Shein Kamoy Chayat Treifa. So he says, Kol Shein Kamoy Chayat Treifa. Where do I know that halacha that a treifa doesn't survive? A doctor meets a patient, he says, I have good news and bad news. No, what's the good news? He says, the good news is you're going to live for a week. He says, that's the good news. If that's the good news, what's the bad news? He says, I've been searching for you for 6 days already. Zok the Gemara, he's not going to live. A treif is not going to live. So the simple pshat in the pasuk, anybody that reads this pasuk, these are the animals that you're allowed to eat. No. The living. These are the living asher toichlu. Chaya, something that can live and survive, you're allowed to eat. Anything that you know that's not going to survive, you're not permitted to eat. And that's the pshat why treifa you can't eat. It's not going to live. That's why you can't eat it. And according to the one that argues and says that a treifa does live, how does he know that a treifa is a problem? This particular one you're allowed to eat, but there are other animals that you're not permitted to eat. What does that mean? Even though they're going to live, the treifa chaya, you see that a treifa does survive, and those you shall not eat. These you eat, these you don't eat, even though they're going to live. And according to the Mandomer that says treifa does not survive. He uses the Mandomer that says treifa chaya uses the word zois. So now the treifa ein chaya, what does he do with the word zois? This is Moiridik. The Tanur Bei Rishmol zois achaya asher toichlu. Milamei shetavas HaKadosh Baruch Hu mikol min v'min. HaKadosh Baruch Hu took every single species in the world. You think about it, it's a neis galoi. How did Moshe Rabbeinu know what an elephant looked like? What a chimpanzee looked like? A tiger that you only have in Asia. How did it get to the desert between Egypt and Israel? Mitzrayim and Eretz Yisrael. Where? How did it get there? HaKadosh Baruch Hu lifted it up and brought it to him. He said, Zois, here's an elephant. Here's a this, here's a that. When I went on the safari, I brought this Rambam. It's my favorite Rambam of all time. The Rambam says the mitzvah d'oraisa to know the difference between the different animals, the kosher and the non. That's why I went on 5 safaris. I plan on going on 5 more because I didn't get it 100%. L'soif died. The chazara. There's a mitzvah. No, mitzvah d'oraisa, he says. A d'oraisa, lahavdil ben atorah ben atomei. Because Baruch Hu said, Zois, you have to know what HaKadosh Baruch Hu meant. We were sitting there, we were debating, is the wildebeest kosher or not? No, what do you say? Yes. You know what a wildebeest is?
Yeah, that's not the minhag.
I'm assuming it's after we weren't clear. We weren't even clear. That's why I have to go back to check that particular halacha and a few others. A honey badger, is a honey badger kosher? For sure not. We did not see. I think I did see once in a different one. Yeah, we did not see. It's an unbelievable animal. Unbelievable. The only animal is this small and it fights with lions. And the lion bites its neck and its head. It doesn't die because it's elastic. So it bites it here and the head goes there. And it sticks out, it turns around at the lion and he little mouth and the lion, who's this mchutzef?
Like your dog.
He goes like this, he whacks it and garnished and it's a crazy animal. This big. Mammoth. Honey badger. Check it out. It's crazy. You see the mouth, it opens up and shows its teeth. Like he could do something to the lion. Even if he bit the lion, it was like not even a tickle. Yeah. I'll just tell you, not even a tickle. I have to tell you this maisa, not a maisa. When I went on a walk with the lions, so the guy says, do this. He takes his hand and he whacks the lion in the stomach really hard. I said, I did it. He said, no. Like a whack. Like you do to your friend when you want to get him in the yeshiva when he's bending over drinking water from the like a whack. So I boom, and the lion didn't even move. Nothing. Not even a. So no. He says he likes it. This is good for him. I'm serious. That's what it was. It was like, okay, you can't explain it until you. Zog the Gemara. V'dechnami miboyle. The Ketana of the Rebbe Shmuel. Oh. Now if you hold Treifa Chaya, but he also needs to teach us that because Baruch Hu showed Moshe Rabbeinu every single animal, and there's millions. Says Gemara Eino Chanami. So now we're stuck. El Treifa Chaya Minole said so now we have to go back. They both they need that whole pasuk to teach us that idea of the Tanit Beis Shmuel that Baruch Hu showed all the Chai. So how do you know that if you hold Treifa Chaya that's considered a Treifa? Nafkele me'idach the Tanit Beis Shmuel. It's another one. Tanit Beis Shmuel. There's a chaya that loy seyachel. There's something that's alive and it's going to live more than the 12 months and still, nevertheless, loy seyachel. Elu shmoyne esrei treifo shenemar leMoshe Sinai. Says Tanit Beis Shmuel and he gives a number. And this is problematic and that's what gets us into the next sugya. He tells us a number. You can't go to 19. He says, these are the 18 that are halacha leMoshe Sinai. You're not going to find them in the Torah exactly. The kuvas haveshes and a cholol of the lave. You're not going to see it. Akash Baruch Hu told Moshe Rabbeinu, these are the 18. And Memela, we have a beautiful sugya. Ask the Gemara, if you count it up in the Mishnah, in fact, it'll be 18. But Rabbi Shmuel says, these are the 18. He says 18, he says the number. And once you say a number, it's very difficult to get out of the number, and we don't get out of the number. We're going to stick to this number. Ask the Gemara, Bazgar. Bazgar is four things. Beis, Samach, Gimel, Reish. So that's 4. It's another 4, so we're at 22. Vishev Shmaitza, this is the only place I believe in Shas that says Vishev Shmaitza, and this is where the Ktsois has the famous Shav Shmaitza. He wrote it when he was like 13 years old, and he said one Shmaitza every single day of Shav Brach. Shav means 7. The famous Shav Shmaitza, the Chaim Shmulevitz on his way from Shanghai to Israel on the boat, he learned Shav Shmaitza. That's what he had with him. He wrote a lot of Chidushim on Shav Shmaitza. One day there was a big commotion. They saw Eretz Yisrael from a distance. They started screaming like they were so excited. They're finally, after a month of who knows what and being persecuted, running away, getting there. They saw it. They started screaming. So the guy says, "You know where we are?" He says, "Yeah, in Shmaitza Gimel." Zok the Gemara. So now we have a problem. We have another 11. Turn to the Daf by Dar Global, specialist in international financial services, by Chaim Milradley, Nishmasi Mimirosi, Fadel Etel Bas, Yitzchok Alei Hashem.
Yeah, it's a straw. He would have reacted. Yeah.
It's just America, you're saying. Yeah. San Francisco. Rabbi Isai, I just want to talk about this for a second. I think it's very exciting. 1,057 people are part of this, and I think that their idea of making a Sefer Torah for, of all of MDY, we have 60,000. You hear this number? 60,000 loimdim now. So it's 1 out of 60. It's not bad. I think we could do a shtickle better. You on the bed, get up, just push. $36, get a puzzle, get a word. These amudim are $720. They're going onto the mantle, and 205 amudim. There was a Rebbe, Rabbi Pilchek. I'm just throwing this out because Mark Ashkenazi told this to me. Kibederach Agav, like Mesiach Levitu, he says, Rabbi Pilchek, he's a Rebbe, so he tried to gather some money together. It took him a day. He says, make sure that he says, no, we have 40 left. Don't worry, you'll get an amud. And he got his money together and he bought an amud. Avi Benjo, I'm reading the Hebrew now because a bunch of Israelis got it. Avi Sharon, Arvadina Gertner. This is a big one for me. He's a Rebbe in Cheder. I know his Parnas Matzav, and he got it. So it's an emotional thing. Ayer Rubin, Dov Yorovitz, Chaim Eisenbach, Chaim Eliezer Bernstein, Yehuda Por, Yehuda Dambi. Lama ze b'ivrit Yehuda? It's a good thing I'm reading this. I was like, you know what? I'll leave this for the Israelis. I read it in the Hebrew already. I'm happy I read it. Shkoyach Rabbi Yehuda, Yaakov Binnenfeld, Yitzhak J. Yishai Shilovetsky Or, Yisrael Mordechai Belush, Michol Solokov, Menashe Yisrael Reisman. Don't worry, I'm equal opportunity. I can't read names in Hebrew or in English. Menashe Yisrael Reisman, Moshe Goldberg, Nachman Biton, Pinchas Venama Sherman. This is Piki Sherman, who my son Aaron was in his parents' house for months when he had his issues back in the day. He wasn't allowed to leave the house, and Piki is the head of, he has a satellite location, one of the most successful satellite locations we have in Telstone.
That was his reward.
The parents, yeah. The mom, no, I heard from his mother, it changed his life. His whole day is around. And Shoshi learner, Shlomo Meir handler, Simcha Bunim Boim. No, did you get something? Did you get a pasuk yet? You, I'm pointing at you. Did you get a pasuk yet? Favos, what are you waiting for? Be part of the MDY. No, forget the month. The Sefer Torah. What? I did. Penny Palak. Simcha Bunim Boim. All right, fine. Next, we'll read the rest a different day. So now, what's the question? The question is, Talmud Beit Yishmael says 18. And our Mishnah brings 18, doesn't say a number. But there's a lot more than 18. We just saw another 11. 4 Bazgar and Shaf Shmaitza. 7. Mishlam Tana Didon says the Gemara. The Tana Tana, he says the amount. With the Shire and whatever he left over, the 11 he left over. At the end of the Mishnah, there's a rule. This is the rule. What's the rule? That if it doesn't live, it's a treifa. It's considered a treifa, and that's it. So all these 11 things, they're not going to live, so they're considered a treifa. It's included in the rule. Zakla. But if you hold that there's only 18, there's no more. Oh, so now the Gemara is going to go through Bazgar first. The Beis Samach Gimel Reish. So Behemo Shenechtachu Regleh is the Beis. If it's leg, its hind leg, got cut. Minar Kuba Ulamala Treifa. I have a very shvacha picture. It's actually from our Gemara. I'll show you this Gemara. I think there's one. Is there one here? Yeah, Chullin Beis. It came to Eretz Yisrael already? Today. Wow. I got one last night, Taka. So here's the picture of the Behema in there. It's mamish crystal clear pshat be'em. It's crystal clear. So there's a bone here. I'll just show it over here. Fine, it's not in there. Animals have like 3 knees, sort of, 3 bending parts. We have 2. So it's from the upper knee and up. In other words, the entire thigh bone, not the shin, but where the shin and the thigh bone meet, from that point and up. Here, I just threw it in here. It's a picture of a picture, but from this arrow and up, and from the arrow and down is not a treifa. Great. So it's a kasha. So we're going to do one of these. Let's see if this works today. Oh, first of all, check this out. If you come to the Hebrew Shir, you know these 2 people. Not this.
Happy birthday, buddy. This is for you.
This is Yo Fialkov.
Thank you, Dad.
He comes with the son all the time.
You cannot buy Rev Eli without the Torah scroll. It comes as a set.
Torah scroll. You get it? Torah
Take
scroll.
both.
Okay, so now that you see that, so these are the 18 of the Mishnah. So the Gemara asks, what about, it's a little slow, what about Behemo Shenechtachu Regleh? So we have 19. Should be 19. Says the Gemara, Sovelok Reb Shimon ben Elazar, Domer Yicholehi Likoves Velichyois. Reb Shimon ben Elazar holds that you could, solder it, if that's the right word. Yeah, there is, I saw my father, what? Cauterize, that's the word, cauterize. So you do some sort of surgery. No, you don't do a reconstruction. Yeah, you do one of these, closing off. And then it can live. Says Gemara, okay, let's say you could do that. Who's the question according to? The question is, the Tanna of Rabbi Shmuel says there's 18, and you found the 19th. But Tanna of Rabbi Shmuel himself holds Treifa Chayis Virlei. He holds that a treifa could live, survive. So let's say it has a cut foot, but it could survive. You don't have to. You can do surgery. You can't do surgery. It's not important. Even if you don't do surgery, it could survive. So why is it not 19? Should be number 19. The thing is, you don't have 19 because if you have a cut leg, that's not a treifa. That's kosher. That's why it's not part of the list here. Fine. Great. Next question. Veika chisaron b'shidra. Chisaron b'shidra means that's the samach. Chisaron, samach of basger. If you have one of the the vertebrae of the spine missing, there's not. Kama chisaron b'shidra. If you have a skull of a dead person, that creates tumas oil. The whole room, the whole house becomes tamei. And also if you have a full spine, but if you have something missing from the spine, it's not tamei. Whether it's 2 or 1, that according to Bishamai, it'll be a treifa, it's missing 2. And according to Bisil, you see, on the one hand, Kula and Chumra, we're going to discuss it tomorrow. According to Bishamai, 2 vertebrae creates a treifa. According to Bisil, 1. So you have 19. You have 1 that's missing a chulya. So says the Gemara, Hemses ubeisa koises the choshaftlu betarte. You consider it Hemses ubeisa koises. It's on the left column towards the top. So take a look at these 2. They become 1. Yeah? These 2 become 1. And now we're going to put the chesaron shidra in that slot, and now you have 18. You take 1 out, and now you put 1 in. Says the Gemara, gluda. You have an animal. This would have been givaldic. An animal walking around without skin. It got sunburned or something. All it's gimel. That's beseger. The gimel beseger. So says the Gemara, so like Remeir the Machshir. Remeir holds that it is kosher. It's not a 19th. It's kosher. It's not a treifa. As the Gemara, charusa. There's something called charusa. Charusa means like a dried date. So its lung shriveled up. Basically, it got frightened by a human being, and it shriveled. It's one of its lungs shriveled, and that's it. It doesn't go back to where it was. It has trauma. In English, it's called trauma. It's a cycle. Here, look at this. Oh, you missed it. Says the Gemara, nikva mara. It's smack in the center of this whole chart. We're going to take that out, toss it out, and instead we're going to insert the charusa. You're right. Charusa is one of them. Mara is not. A punctured gallbladder is not a problem. Mara manikotani lo Rabbi Yehuda. Gemara v'ayel charusa. Great. Ask the Gemara v'ikishav shmaitza. But what do? We have another 7. Take a look. We put all 7 over here, and we're going to go through them real quickly. It's fascinating when you learn the science over here. You see the pictures. Buka da'atma. We have a real buka da'atma from the Oisei Hayoim. If I can find it, here we go. Basically, joints have a ball, like a bearing. Is that what it is? A ball and it fits in a socket. A ball and a socket. Hakadosh Baruch Hu made it's unbelievable. I said that yesterday. There's a ball. And because you have a ball, it can rotate within the socket. Once it pops out, so I know a guy, I know him very well. You might know him also, but I can't say too much information. He's in the army, and his dream is to be one of the elite in the elite units. And his socket popped out of his shoulder. Like one of the first days of training over there, he's thinking to himself, there goes my whole elite unit, what should I do? Without screaming, without making a whole scene, he popped it into place on his own, which is extremely painful. And in fact, he was the top student over there, and Be'ez Hashem, they'll take him to the top unit. They're looking at him now. Doyle should give a bracha. Should make it there. This guy, shoulder. I'll tell the father what to do about the shoulder. We got to take him to Chutzlars maybe or something real quickly. So if the ball comes out of his hand, it's very interesting. I just want to show you real quickly. This ball and socket. If you notice, I had one of these problems. I should know what it's called. The ACL, the tendon, whatever, the ligament snaps. It snapped. That's when it becomes treifa. If the ball and the socket pop out, it's not a treifa. It's when the ligament snaps, and over here in this picture, you can see the snapped ligament. So that's another one. If it has a problem with one of its kidneys, I threw in a picture here of a luxa bekulya. I thought I did, maybe I didn't. I know I received one from Reb. I'll give it to the editors if they remind me. Okay? Luxa bekulya achas, in other words, it's full of pus and it's really bad. Now you could donate a kidney, but if an animal has a bad kidney, that's going to be a bad thing for the animal to trade. Utnan, nitalat chol ksheira. If you remove the spleen completely, it's okay. Only you remove it completely, but if you have a puncture, it's no good. If the con and the veshet are shaky, they're dangling, most of them, it's a treva. Before we learned about broken ribs, now we're talking about one rib completely removed from its, uprooted from its mikar. Mikar treva. A crushed skull, most of it is crushed. And the meat, the flesh that covers the keres, the intestines, the whatever, we'll see. Most of it treifa. So says the Gemara. So nachama. So we're over here, right? We are over here. We have 7 in addition to the 18. Says the Gemara. Take a look. In the Mishnah, there's 8 different puncture wounds: veshes, moyach, leiv, etc. So what we do is take a look at this now. We have a folder called Nekuvos. We're going to take out all the 8, all the red ones, and put them in one folder. So now one folder is 1. That's all 8 are considered 1, called nekev. Plus the 7, we're going to put it all back into place, and everything is gevaldik. Now we have 18. Chashvinu b'chad. All of those 8 are considered one folder. All the reds. Apik shav, ayil shav. You take out 7, put back 7. We had the shav shmaisa, the 7 that we just discussed, the bukdatma, the ball, and the bearing. Okay, so that you're right. That's one of the 8. In the Mishnah, we have 2 that are separated. One of them was this, right? The cut trachea. We also have the broken spine that we showed in the video. You should consider 1, not 2. So now you have 1 extra. You have the spleen, so that's a 9th punctured one. What do you do about the punctured spleen? The 2 that we discussed, the cut leg, that you said, no, that's not a problem, we hold it's kosher. And the gluda, the animal walking around without skin, which is a problem. We said it's not a problem. Loy topic. Leave that back in there in the Mishnah. So, Rabbi said, before you go, one last thing I got to show you. So this is, at the end of the day, these are the 18. If you take a look here, you'll have the Book of the Atma, you have all the stuff, this, and I'm just looking for, Nechtechu Ragleh, number 9 is Nechtechu Ragleh, we inserted it back in. This should be somewhere, Chisar Bashidra, number 10. Rabbi Sai, and all 8 is number 1. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day and enjoy Elu Treifas.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.